Good day everyone! This video presentation is a continuation of our topic on extemporaneous speech. Once again, I am Fahima Wahab, your student teacher for the subject of effective communication under the supervision of Sir Benji Ontong. Let me show you our learning objectives for this discussion. At the end of the lesson, the learners are expected to first, define what is extemporaneous speech. Second, identify the types of extemporaneous speech standard formats. And third, understand the different types of extemporaneous delivery in oral discourse. Now, how do you understand this illustration? As you can see, we have two different illustrations, one of a confident speaker and another one of a speaker experiencing difficulties. What do you think the problem might be? Perhaps it is due to the methods and strategies the struggling speaker is unable to apply. To become a confident speaker, let us explore and understand more deeply what extemporaneous speech is. Now, for the first part of our discussion, we have the standard format of an extemporaneous speech. First is the introduction. Under it, we have the hook, question or statement, and clear thesis position. Alright, so the hook is the part where you need to get the attention of your audience. This can be done through a surprising fact, a quote, or a provoking questions. The statement is where you will need to restate the given question or option to help your audience follow the pace of your speech. Just like the Miss Universe, where you will need to restate the question given to you. Next is to present your main thesis or position from the given question or option to ensure your audience understands what you stand for. The introduction, meaning to say, is a very crucial part of the speech because it is the opening, the starter, and the attention seeker. Next is the body. This is where everything will start to get on fire. This is where your problems, arguments, and reasonings will arouse. It includes the main points, which again, according to the effective communication book provided by Sir Benji, you need to create at least 3 main points in your speech, if you can still remember from our previous discussion. And by creating the 3 main points, provide them a fair and enough examples and evidence. Moreover, for the logical flow, think of the body of your speech like a roadmap. When you have a logical flow, you are essentially guiding your audience through your ideas in a way that makes sense. Each point builds on the last one, so they are not just a bunch of random thoughts, they are part of a bigger picture. Alright, for the last part of the extemporaneous speech standard format, we have the conclusion or closing part of your speech. You need to summarize your points to help your audience remember everything you have said. Then, present your final stand by restating your position so that until the very end, your audience understands what you are truly advocating for and the ground you are standing on. Finally, and with a memorable closing. This could be a question, a quote, or a powerful statement. Keep in mind, the conclusion should be powerful as the introduction. Now, let us move on to the next part, which is extemporaneous delivery and oral discourse. Extemporaneous speech is a form of oral discourse where a speaker delivers a well-organized and spontaneous presentation without fully memorizing or reading from a script. Now, we have 3 types that will help you to deliver your speech according to the oral discourse. First is repetition. You don't need to repeat every word, but you should reiterate your main idea in 3 parts of your speech, such as the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. For instance, the question is, does artificial intelligence help students in their academics or worsen their performance? you need to clearly state your stand in the introduction, reinforce it in the body, and restate it in the conclusion to remind your audience of your position and what you are advocating for. Next, we have the clarity. Always remember that speaking and writing are different from each other. A live audience during your speech won't be able to go back and listen again to check what they have missed, unlike written text, which they can read repeatedly. This is where clarity becomes important. In writing, we use underlines and highlights to emphasize important details. In speaking, we can't do that. Instead, we use our tone and voice to emphasize key points. For transitions, we can use transitional words to signal that we are about to discuss another point. For example, if we are adding information, we can use in addition to that, furthermore, or moreover. But if we are contrasting information, we can use however, on the other hand, and although. These are some of the examples of transitional devices, phrases, and words. Lastly, we have simplicity, especially when speaking live or in front of an audience. Again, they won't have the time to look up unfamiliar words. Use simple, clear, and basic language, particularly if your audience may struggle to understand complex terms. For instance, instead of saying, "Please extinguish the nocturnal light," you can simply say, "Please turn off the light." Alright, this concludes our topic on extemporaneous speech. I hope you have learned something valuable, as this will be part of your third quarter examination. Thank you so much, and let us continue learning together.